The information shared on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay seeking care because of something you heard on this podcast. The views and opinions expressed by guests or hosts are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any affiliated organizations. Reliance on any information provided by this podcast is solely at your own risk. Welcome to the Healthy Image Podcast, where we talk all things health and wellness. Today's guest is Jenny Parra. She is a Lagree instructor. Jenny's the kind of instructor who makes every shake feel worth it. Known for her sweet, motivating energy and her emphasis on the importance of intersectional coaching, she creates a welcoming space where clients feel supported, challenged, and inspired to give their best. Her biggest goal is to leave clients feeling refreshed and motivated to feel in tune with their body. Jenny's insightful coaching and keen eye for form help you connect mind to muscle with every slow, intentional move. Whether you're a first-timer or a Lagree devotee, Jenny's classes will leave you stronger, centered, and smiling, even through the burn. Welcome, Jenny.
Hi,
Welcome.
guys. Thank you for having me. How exciting.
We're happy to have you on. I'm so not familiar with
Okay.
Lagree, so I know Luz here knows more than I do, so it'll be interesting to hear, questions from someone who knows, and I know nothing about it, so I'm actually really
Okay.
excited to learn.
Absolutely. I've taken just a few Lagree classes, so I'm not completely a full-blown regular yet.
That's okay.
But I'm learning, and I enjoyed all of the classes that I've taken. They've been challenging and, equally challenging and equally, I find them very uplifting and energizing too.
That's great.
Yes. And so in getting started, how did you first discover Lagree and what made you fall in love with it? Because you seem to, enjoy what you really do, especially being an instructor.
Mm-hmm. I first discovered Lagree shortly after COVID. So I found this thing through my friends. It's called ClassPass, and we were all itching to do something together. We're kind of like mid-20s at that point, and we're like, we're not going to go out. We want to exercise. Like, let's start doing something.
That was the time of making good changes.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, yes.
Changing for the better, right? So we were getting into finding different workouts, and we found Lagree, and we were like so stunned after, because once we started taking those classes together, we were like, why is my whole body sore? I have never used these muscles, but on top of that, I looked strong on the outside, and I realized how weak I actually was and how weak my core was.
Oh,
So
wow.
that completely shifted my perspective in terms of my body and my relationship with my own body. Like it was completely a shift for me, and I realized like I was out of tune and I was not as strong, and that kind of shifted my workout style.
Oh,
for
wow.
sure.
So you were challenged in a much different way from other kinds of workouts that you've done. And it sounds like as a student, you became this student that you enjoyed Lagree. What led you to become an instructor? Because that is a whole nother step. I'm sure it's very different, but it's probably very rewarding as well.
And I wasn't so many classes in to where I decided becoming an instructor. However, I think when going into something that was so challenging, I think I found myself thinking like, well, I love fitness as it is. On top of that, I'm like, how can I make an effective workout with good music? And then on top of that, having someone that looks like me being the teacher, because coming across all of these studios, I used to work out in Santa Monica very frequently because that's where I was working, and I just didn't see people of my own demographic, and that was so important to me. And it was kind of discouraging to sometimes visit these studios and not feel as welcomed, unfortunately. And might have been, these studios, sometimes they're placed in very high, like wealthier areas. So I noticed that right away. Like my area did not have any of this. I had to travel to go work out like this. So I think it was so important for someone like me to enter these spaces, to have a welcoming space for women that look like me, that were raised like me and have, same demographic, same body type. So just like I wanted to create a space where women felt like you are welcome to work out. There is no requirement to look any certain way or any, you don't have to have the highest income to come, just move your body.
Oh, yes. And
Yeah.
that is a great perspective. Absolutely. And, what was your fitness journey like before Lagree?
Um, so formally, all throughout high school, college, I was in sports, so student athlete, and that you're told what to do, what time, and you're there. And then coming out of college, I was kind of lost, and that's another story on its own with when like college athletes like lose their sport. So it was kind of on my own that I have to find the motivation. There's no more group workouts. So it's tough working out on your own. It really is. I think I found YouTube. I found like mat Pilates things on YouTube. I was a super avid gym goer, and I feel like I was like 245 on the weight on the rack and stuff. And I was realizing like I need to be more of a functional trainer after I tried Lagree. And then I realized, okay, I don't have core, but I weight lift. So what's missing? And then I realized cardio is missing. And then Lagree is strength resistance plus cardio. So that's what like my little path was into it.
Yes. And how has becoming an instructor changed your perspective on health and wellness? Because that comes with a whole nother type of responsibility, especially when you are leading others.
Absolutely. I think the responsibility is so immense on my end because you have to show up on 100% energy.
Yes.
You have to be motivational to others, and you have to leave your life worries aside and like host and be this character for people. I realize like when things happen, and sometimes if I'm too involved in school or my schedule's behind, or a woman's monthly cycle comes, my motivation, my energy is not as high as always. So I've actually realized quite the opposite of being nourished and being fit. I've realized that a lot of our fitness instructors actually are quite the opposite. Like we're kind of deteriorating.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
self-care becomes
Self-care.
even more important, essential.
Absolutely.
And especially when, you have a group of individuals who are coming to see you, it is an experience. I think, especially when I've gone to my Lagree classes or other fitness classes that I've gone to, it really is very much an experience.
Yes.
And I'm there to learn. I'm there to engage with others and socialize and just enjoy the workout. But I also leave in many ways and with such a positive vibe, with positive energy from the other people. So I do, admire what you do, especially as an instructor.
And I think as an instructor, that is our main goal, because it really, like, even though we have XYZ going on, I think our main goal is for you to everybody has something going on. So our main goal is just to block everything out and have you guys feel in tune with your body, feel good after workout, and feel like you can accomplish the rest of your day just feeling strong, honestly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I know, again, I don't know really anything about Lagree, but I do know that Lagree and Pilates are not the same thing. What's the difference?
So Lagree, they're definitely not the same thing. And I went into this journey thinking it was the same thing. And sometimes I would sign up for Lagree classes, sometimes Pilates, and I was like, why was that one so much harder than the last one? Like, what is going on? And so it wasn't until closer to when I started getting certified that I realized Pilates is more restorative method, joints and stuff. Like I hurt my hip, and I was taking Pilates classes. I felt like it was strengthening my muscles instead. And Lagree is quite the opposite. It's like a breakdown of your muscle. It's strength resistance mixed with cardio. So you're actually deteriorating the muscle so that it grows back plumper. You nourish yourself, and you're activating your slow twitch muscle fibers, muscles that people have never worked out in a day in their life. And you're like, why was that so hard? Because you're really like putting your body, it's very low impact, but you're pushing your body to hold these planks engage your core. So it's restoration versus kind of like a breakdown of your muscle.
So for the audience, so that they understand, so is it that you're saying that with Lagree you can build muscle, you can have
Absolutely.
that growth, because you're saying that the muscle will be broken down during the Lagree method process?
Yes, the method is to find your shakes. So your slow twitch muscle fibers, you start shaking, and that's exactly what you're activating. And they say if you're not working hard enough unless you find that shaking point. So, I mean, every class is different. You know, we have strengths. Sometimes we're stronger than other days, but your goal is to find kind of like that shaking point in your muscle while you're doing Lagree, depending on your weight resistance or your spring load on the machine. So that's like a huge weight you're trying to tug around as slow as possible.
So if someone's going to try Lagree for the first time, what could they expect for their first session or class?
Yeah, well, I teach beginning classes as well, and I always tell them just think about very intense lactic acid throughout the body the whole time. So you're going to find that lactic acid burn the entire time. You're breathing, think about a lot of center core strength, and I tell them, don't worry, you're okay. I always ask if they have any former yoga or Pilates that they incorporate, or strength resistance, just to get a feel for how in tune with their body they are. Because if you have someone that's trying it that doesn't really work out, it's going to be a workout of your lifetime for sure. Yeah, so I always just prep them by saying it's going to burn. It doesn't matter if it's a beginning class or an advanced class.
So they do have different levels of classes. So you don't just sign up and go and you guys are all doing the same thing. It just depends on your, where you're at. If beginner, if you've done it before, if you're going to your first, exercise class in 10 years, you don't want to be, I don't want to be doing it at the same time,
or the same level
with somebody
as an
experienced.
advanced.
Yeah.
I have a plethora of people that come. This is my first time working out ever.
Oh, wow.
In a regular paced class. That's not a beginning class, because some studios offer that beginning class or foundations, and then some studios just, you take class as you go. I always say, though, throw yourself in the fire. It is okay. That is how I learned as well. And you don't know until you try it.
And you just adjust the resistance. So you're doing the same motion, but you're not doing the same
resistance. Yeah, I can add. So I usually add a little bit more springs to be supportive, or take off springs for the method to be a little more supportive, depending on how well people are in tune with their body. But other than that, if I know, if I'm asking you, are you okay with performing everything as created or as intended to be weight-wise, and they're okay with it, then we take them on that ride, and you let me know how you feel after. But go for it. Don't be scared. Try it out. You got to try everything.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
try it out.
Yeah. If you don't like it, then that's okay too.
Yeah.
I think as long as you find something that is good for your own body, that's what's important. But hey, you can knock out cardio and strength resistance in one go. So
yeah. And how does Lagree challenge the mind and body differently?
That's a good one. I think that when I started doing it, I think it challenged me so much so that I found complete discipline, as well as in other aspects of my life. I think it's challenges your brain to, okay, stay in this for 5 seconds longer. Stay in. You can do it. I always tell everybody, now this one is going to be more mental than it is body-wise. So yes, you can, and yes, you can, right? It's all about the mind. It's I can do this. I'll stay in it for 5 seconds longer. And sometimes where, life aspects, you're just kind of I need a rest. And I think it's just wherever you're at, however you're feeling, but just pushing yourself that extra 5 seconds every class, then you're holding a plank for 20 seconds. You're eventually going to hold a plank for 30 seconds. that's always a
Yeah,
win.
holding it for 5 seconds longer. You did it 5 seconds longer than you thought you could.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
and that's always wonderful to be able to challenge yourself. Just that little extra push.
yeah.
I think that's great. Has Lagree played a role in your own weight loss or body transformation journey?
Yes. So I am 40 pounds down.
Wow.
And
Congratulations.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm noticing etching in places I've never seen before, and I think that was like very important to me because again, it like taught me some kind of discipline as well, and a push in my mental to kind of fix my diet. To kind of, I am very into fasting and like restoring my body functions. I feel healthier and more energetic. So this definitely, again, it aligned me to my relationship with my own body and my habits. And I'm walking and I'm like, wait a minute, engage your core. Or I'm lifting something and I'm like, engage your core. So I think it's definitely played a role.
That's amazing. And I could, probably, guess that you feel so great whenever you've seen, well, first off, you've seen a major change in your body. Losing 40 pounds is not easy. And then secondly, seeing the extra changes that you did not expect, especially, the sculpting that you probably, I'm sure you've noticed in your body, and then the changes with your nutrition and your habits, and then being more in tune with your body and the movement and what you can do now. I'm sure that has been just incredibly joyful to see and to
Absolutely.
experience.
Yeah, and that's I've wanted anybody that has my body type or that feels like they're stuck in a different body to know that this is a great path. Even though maybe you don't like working out, maybe this isn't for you. I'm like, it is possible just to find that other side of your journey. Yeah.
Absolutely. And how do you approach the topic of weight loss with your clients, especially those who might actually feel discouraged?
In terms of weight loss, I try not to give any weight loss advice just because I think I'm trying to be very sensitive to everybody. And I think it is more important for me to shift the conversation to let them know like something that feels good for your body. You don't have to lose 50 pounds and be 100 pounds to feel pretty or feel good. I think it's all about what your body is asking you.
Yes.
What do you feel is okay? Is this going to make you happy? Like, it's the small changes, and I try to avoid weight loss but more motivation to just do something that makes them feel happier.
It's good for you. It's a healthy habit to have.
Yeah.
Don't even look at the scale. I mean,
Don't
unless
look
your goal is you're
Yeah,
trying
of
to lose
course.
weight, great. But if you're just trying to start a healthier lifestyle, you're by just going, you're leading a healthier lifestyle. Who cares what the scale says?
Yes.
Exactly. It's
Yes.
never a loss to move your body, right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Yes. And what do you think people misunderstand about exercise and weight loss? That is interesting, because I know they're separate. They're similar. They're intertwined in many ways because you need one for the other, but in many ways they are separate.
So exercise and weight loss. Weight loss it's a whole other ball game. I think fat loss and weight loss are very different as well. And I think people are so, and so am I. I'm very fixated on the scale and what the scale says. But this is why I say don't encourage like using the word weight loss with my clients, because how are you looking at yourself in the mirror? What are you feeling? You might be smaller in pounds on the scale, but maybe because you didn't drink as much water one day and then you're lighter the next. Like, what is your goal, like fat loss wise? Like, what are you trying to achieve aesthetically? So that's a whole other game in itself, and exercising will definitely take you to that fat loss. I think people have misconceived notions about that. So I think weight loss is hard to describe.
Yes.
I think fat loss and how you can get there with exercise is a whole other conversation.
Oh, yes. And there's body composition. There's body composition too, because yes, when we're looking at the scale, the number at the scale, like you said, it does fluctuate from day to day. And even throughout the day, there's fluctuations. But I think overall, body composition is what's likely going to change when you continue to repeatedly do exercise, especially something like Lagree with strength training and sculpting the muscles.
And to that point too, if you're building muscle, you might see the scale go up.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
And so it's not that you're gaining fat, you're gaining weight, but you're not gaining fat, so it's, yeah.
So that there's that recomposition that happens with the body, which we do want to see. Most people want to see a little more muscle, on their bones. And plus muscle is really healthy. And with regards to health goals, what do you focus on when it comes to outside of the studio with topics like nutrition, sleep, and mindset?
So that on my own, it's just, again, with the discipline. Nutrition wise, I even struggle sometimes. I try to tell my clients, I am 100% honest with them. I sometimes emotionally binge eat. Like, I am so stressed with daily life. I have work, I have school, I have all these things I have to accomplish, and it just makes me so emotional. And I think it's just about finding your triggers and then moving forward. Every day is a new day. So
Yes. And I think with Lagree, and I think not just with Lagree, but once you get into the habit of adapting or building in a structure with habits of movement, every day you engage in some kind of movement. And for many, it is Lagree. And when you do that on a regular basis, you go maybe 3-4 times a week. And then the other days during the week, maybe you're hitting your step goals. But then that kind of rewires the brain, I think, where now you want to do a little bit more. Now let me work on my nutrition. Now let me work on this. Now I'm going to work on my sleep. Now it's almost like you're habit stacking, good habits on top of other good habits.
Exactly.
But it certainly is a journey, which I'm sure you can relate to because you've lost 40 pounds, which that is incredible. But I'm sure you've looked at, habit stacking and looking at other ways to feel better about yourself and make improvements for yourself.
Yeah, I encourage, if this is what your method that you would like to do every day, go for it. I very much encourage a stack, like you say, of other workouts. I feel like I cannot function throughout my day if I am not in some way physically exerted. So I think that's like healthy, and it's questionable sometimes because I'll seek some kind of movement, like I'll go for a walk or one day, and then I'll weightlift the next day, and then the third day I'll go to F45, the fourth day I'll do Lagree. So I think it's just what you like to do at the end of the day. How are you going to move your body today?
Yes.
And in doing so, and you're seeing these results, it just leads you to want more and want to strive for better. So that leads you to, recomp or hit your goals. It just triggers something in your mind where you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this.
Well, and then you start to see results, and even maybe not physically see results, but when you start to be sore and you're like, okay, I know it's working, and it was a hard class, and you think, well, I'm sore. I just went through that class. Maybe I won't go drive through Taco Bell today because I want this to be worth it,
I worked really hard, and then
I'm actually seeing results. Like, let's
Yeah.
keep going. Like, the results in itself are just kind of motivating because
Yes.
you're seeing something, you want to keep going.
Oh, yes.
Especially like when you're sore or when you feel like you can't even walk up the stairs, then you go home and you make these decisions like, do I want to nourish my body so that I feel better tomorrow and I can probably do the workout again? Or do I want Taco Bell?
Yeah.
And what kind of nutritional value
You're
does
like,
that
I'm not
bring?
this sore for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And when you said walking up the stairs and you feel sore, the alternative to that, the flip side of that, is walking up the stairs and being out of shape and huffing and puffing. Because I've been there too before, I started getting in shape. And it's worth it when you go through the hard workouts and you make it. and you feel good, and then you build mental strength, and then you go back again and again and again. And before you know it, yeah, you're walking up a flight of steps, and then you're not huffing and puffing. And that's one of the best feelings.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's so
yeah.
true.
Yeah. While soreness is not a great indicator if the workout was effective or not, however, it's all mental as well. Like if you do feel sore, you're like, let me choose option A to nourish my body. It's like, again, motivation versus discipline. Like you're more motivated to nourish yourself, but how long is that going to hold you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like when are you going to go back to your other habits? So again, that's when the discipline has to you have to take that into consideration.
Yes.
And even though the days like are hard, you have to show up for yourself and keep pushing.
Yeah.
That's how you see a change.
Yeah, and discipline, that's built through baby steps.
Absolutely.
It really is. It's daily, and you hit it right on. I think discipline is everything, and consistency.
Yes, because that'll outweigh your motivation. Because I might not be
Yes.
motivated tomorrow. We're not motivated to go to work every day, but we have to show up to work because the end result is you accomplish something.
Right.
And this is showing up for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is there a healthy routine or ritual somebody could do before going to a Lagree class?
Yeah, I think that all depends on what your what your habits are. It's hard for me to go out the night prior, even teaching a class after. Oof, it is so hard to do that. I'm like always like, and if I am out dinner or wherever the girls want to go that day, I'm checking my clock. I'm like, I gotta go home and sleep. I have to go to sleep. It's like give and take. Your body won't be as up for it the next day. So it's just definitely like get that extra hour of sleep. Stay home.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna be okay.
Yeah. You also need to let yourself rest.
Rest.
Absolutely.
Or else you're just going to burn out. You're just,
Absolutely,
So.
yeah.
Yes. And it's to the point where you show up for yourself. We just said you earlier about showing up. What you do, you don't just show up for yourself. You show up for others. And it's back to the responsibility and obligation of showing up as your best self for others, because your energy, they absorb your energy, they get your energy, and many times that energy translates into a great workout because you influence their workout, their drive and motivation to push themselves a little bit harder and to believe in themselves, because you go in there with that belief and confidence in them. And so I think it's not just as an instructor, it's not just showing up for yourself, it's showing up for everybody else.
Yeah. I have a good habit. I'm going to say it's a good habit of checking my rosters daily, like hourly almost. And I put into consideration what client shows up what day. And I have this rapport with my clients. They're so they
Like
warm
family.
my heart so much. Like I have my consistent clients too that show up. I feel like they show up for me, but they're showing up for themselves, for their body, right? But I'm like, you showed up
Probably
for
both.
me.
Yes,
Probably both.
yes, both.
And I love them so much too. Like I feel this sense of joy and fulfillment, and I'm like, I will be there for you because I want you to feel the same way you make me feel, and that's like full and happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody who is nervous to start Lagree for the first time?
I would say I have a really a motto of just throwing yourself in the fire. Just do it. Just try it.
No one's looking at you. No one's judging
No,
you.
at the end of the day, that's a big pill I had to swallow. Like mid-20s, I was like, no one cares.
When I work out, I'm not looking at what other people are doing.
Yeah,
But I always think they're looking at me, and I'm like, well, everyone's just so afraid that they're being judged, but no one's looking at you. No one cares.
I
They're
think
just
we're
happy
just-
you're there.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
we're just so self-conscious.
Yeah,
and am I doing this right?
Yep.
Oh, what if I fail? What
Yeah.
if I this? What if I that? Well, what if you really like it and you keep going back?
What if you thrive
Yes.
at it? What if
Yes.
you love it? Yeah.
Or become an instructor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
no one cares is harsh, but it's all in terms of projection. It's all how do you feel about yourself? Like, show up for yourself. Do it for
Yes.
you. You're not doing this for the person next to you that's probably staring at you. Like, you're going to do this for you. You're going to feel so amazing after.
Yeah.
I love that.
And again, we all start somewhere, so you can't
Yes.
get discouraged when you go and it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
When I first started, it was my balance coordination was horrible. I was just trying to make sure I was not going to fall. That was like my first 20 classes too. And I could tell the instructor was kind of like, oh, here we go again, here we go again, but I was like, sorry, it's me again,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, I'm doing this for myself. I'm sorry, sister, you're going to have to correct me, and I'm here to take whatever advice you give me, but it's all just do it for yourself.
yeah. Well, my next question was going to be if your clients could take away one life lesson from you, what would it be? But I feel like you kind of just answered it, really. It's just like it is an overall, it's like Nike says, just do it. Just do it.
Yes.
You will have no
Exactly.
regrets. Just anything in life.
Yeah. I feel like something else is just have enough self-love for yourself to
I love
show
that.
up for yourself. That's one of my biggest things. Like, give yourself the hug.
Yeah.
You motivate yourself, discipline yourself, just give yourself the high five, because it all stems from you. Yeah.
Yes, very good. And Jenny, you're in the Los Angeles area, so if someone wants to contact you or take a class with you, how can they
Yes.
contact you? Would it be through social media or what can they do?
Well, you can find me on ClassPass. I teach at Formation Lagree. It's in Arcadia. You can find me at Loom by Lagree in Pasadena and MegaFit at San Marino. And I don't mind being contacted on Instagram for this. I actually have a wellness group. We're Loom_link on Instagram, and I provide mat Pilates sessions and exercise sessions for the community, just making it accessible for others. So that's a great way to contact me.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like
Yeah.
this was really insightful. Again, I knew nothing. I was talking to Stacy behind the scenes, and she said, I go to Lagree, and I thought it was just the name of, like, the
Like the
play.
studio.
Yeah. And then she's like, no, and I was like, wait, what? This is a thing? And I never knew what it was, but that sounds like something up my alley. Like that just
Yes.
sounds.
We'll get you into one of the
Okay, all
classes.
right, yeah.
Yes.
Join me.
Yes.
We'll all be first timers together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yes,
This was
thank
fun
you.
and very
Thank you,
insightful. Thank you for tuning in to the Healthy Image podcast, where we talk all things health and wellness. As always, like, subscribe, or share with a friend who might find this helpful. Leave a comment or a review. We love some feedback to know,
Absolutely.
what you guys want to hear, what kind of a guest you want us to have. Just let us know how we're doing. And as always, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.